Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a corner of internet subculture that is honestly deeply fascinating. Humans have been telling scary stories around campfires since the dawn of time, right? It's this innate, communal way to experience fear in a totally safe environment. But how exactly does that ancient tradition translate into our modern digital age? Well, today, we're bringing our analytical lens to a massive, highly structured, and somewhat eerie digital ecosystem that exists right under our noses.
So what happens when millions gather around a digital campfire? It's a phenomenal question, because we're not talking about a dozen people sitting around in the woods here. We're talking about a global audience logging on simultaneously, willingly subjecting themselves to terrifying tales. And as we'll see as we dig into the source material today, this ecosystem, it is not random. It's meticulously organized, hyper-specific, and astonishingly successful. We're going to deconstruct exactly how this digital campfire operates, using the real metrics, titles, and rules that govern the whole shebang.
Section 1. Anatomy of a Viral Nightmare. Okay, to truly understand this phenomenon, we need a specific case study to ground our data. Let's start with this staggering number, 961,333. That is nearly 1 million views, pulled directly from a single video titled 3 Scary True Hide-and-Seek Horror Stories. And what's absolutely wild is that this video racked up those numbers in just 7 months. Think about how hyper-specific that title is for a second. It's not a general horror narrative. It's specifically about hide and seek. And yet, almost 1 million people deliberately clicked on it, seeking out that exact flavor of fear. And this brilliantly illustrates that we are not looking at some fluke. 7.09 million. That is the subscriber count for the creator of that video, a channel appropriately named Mr. Nightmare. When you see a subscriber base north of 7 million, you immediately realize this isn't a one-off viral anomaly or, a lucky break in the algorithm. No, this is a sustained, incredibly loyal audience coming back week after week. This is literally a broadcast network-sized audience entirely dedicated to internet horror. Moving to Section 2, the creator's strict rulebook. So how exactly does one manage a campfire of 7 million people? Well, you have to look at this incredible contrast. Mr. Nightmare actually solicits these true horror stories from his audience via a dedicated Gmail address. Now, you'd probably think a channel dedicated to chaotic, terrifying life-or-death situations would be, well, a bit wild, right? But look at this quote straight from the submission guidelines. Anything with poorly structured sentences and grammar will not be read, so please just make them neat and understandable. It is brilliantly ironic. You could be submitting a harrowing story about being stalked in the woods, but hey, if you forget your Oxford comma or leave in a run-on sentence, straight to the trash. It proves that behind this illusion of raw, chaotic fear, there's actually a highly professionalized, incredibly strict editorial machine at work. And this strict curation leads us to a specific definition for this phenomenon. We can call it ambient horror. It's gamified, highly structured, scary storytelling that is deliberately curated for prolonged, bingeable consumption. The neat grammar, the specific thematic groupings, it is all specifically designed so that the listener is never jolted out of the experience by, say, a poorly written sentence or a confusing narrative jump. It's smoothed out, packaged fear, literally meant to be put on in the background while you work, study, or even try to fall asleep. Section 3. A thriving ecosystem of fear. Now, Mr. Nightmare is definitely not alone in the woods. By analyzing sidebar recommendations from our source material, we can start to map out this broader neighborhood. Just look at these themes pulled directly from the recommended videos surrounding our case study. Someone's outside, fishing, thunderstorms, the night shift at a mall, boardwalks, Appalachian towns. The hyper-targeting here is phenomenal. Creators aren't just making generic scary stories anymore. They are indexing every conceivable human anxiety. Afraid of the beach? Boom, there are creepy, true boardwalk horror stories with 1.5 million views. Working late? Here are your night shift stories. This ecosystem categorizes fear the exact same way a supermarket categorizes cereal. You just walk down the digital aisle and pick out the exact flavor of anxiety you want today. Let's look at how this impacts viewing habits by checking out duration. So a standard Mr. Nightmare video, like the fishing or thunderstorm ones, hovers right around 22 to 28 minutes. That's essentially your standard TV sitcom length. But then the algorithm starts recommending mega-compilations. Check out this data point. A channel called Whispered Diaries has a piece titled 3+ hours of true night shift horror stories told in the rain. Over 3 hours long, and it has 1 million views. This perfectly illustrates that ambient nature you just talked about. Millions of people are literally pressing play and locking themselves into a 3-hour marathon of curated dread.
And the market for this, it's just massive across the board. Look at the view counts for other channels operating in this exact same space. You've got Mr. Ballin pulling 3.3 million views for his top 5 bingeable scary stories. Mr. Nightmare's Stalker upload hit 2.6 million. Another channel, MJV Animations, takes these exact types of stories, animates them, and hits 3.1 million views. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is this: we are not observing some tiny fringe hobby. We're looking at a multi-million view, highly lucrative entertainment industry built entirely on the back of structured, user-submitted fear.
Finally, Section 4, the bingeable horror formula.
By piecing together all the data points we've explored in this explainer, we can practically reverse engineer the operational strategy of this entire ecosystem. Like a detective, here is the mechanical blueprint, step by step. Step 1, source true, hyper-niche stories from your audience. That guarantees a constant flow of free, highly relatable content. Step 2, enforce strict grammar and structure rules so the content remains totally frictionless to consume. Step 3, package those stories into highly specific thematic compilations, whether it's thunderstorms, fishing, whatever. And Step 4, rely on the platform's recommendation algorithm to feed the viewer continuously, effectively turning a 20-minute habit into a 3-hour multi-channel binge.
When we distill all of this down, this is the core takeaway. It's an industry built on organizing chaos into neat, multi-hour playlists of fear. It takes the absolute most unpredictable, terrifying elements of human existence, stalkers, getting lost in the woods, home invasions, and it totally sanitizes them through perfect grammar, soothing narration, and reliable track lengths. It literally gives the modern digital user total control over their own fear.
Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought to chew on. We've seen the data. We understand the formula now. But step back for a second and think about the psychology of the viewer. In an age of endless digital distraction, where we can watch literally anything in the world with the click of a button, why are millions choosing to lock themselves in with hours of structured fear?